All right, we start with the Ravens, who decided to go for the field goal and instead said, you know what, we're going to fake it. Are we going to fake it with our electric quarterback who can run it or pass it? No. We're going to do a reverse to a tight end in the slowest fake you've ever seen. Needless to say, this did not work. Sorry, Ravens. That's a tough day at the office. But on this one, Mark Andrews was on the good side of tough day at the office, and we give this one to my guy, safety Tayshaun Gibson, who got juked by the same slow guy that ran the reverse a minute ago in the open field. You hate to see it. Tough day, Tayshaun. All right, next up, we had the Indianapolis Colts. Jacoby Brissett looking around, decides to run it, changes his mind, and Calais Campbell, defender for the Jacksonville Jaguars, he gets what they call put in a blender, and Jacoby still throws a touchdown pass. Now, anytime you get dead-legged by somebody with a knee brace the size of a Mercedes hatchback, you're going to be on tough day at the office. Sorry, Calais. You had a tough day. All right, next up, Dolphins decided to go for the onside kick, unbeknownst to the Buffalo Bills, who were all running to the opposite side of the field. The kicker actually comes up with the onside. It was only the second recovered onside kick of the season. Bill special teams. That's a tough day at the office. You are now traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of air and ground. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination, even for those who imagine this quarterback would be playing receiver or running back. Your next stop? No, it's not the Twilight Zone. It ain't even the Trend Zone. No, my friends, this is the Lamar Zone. Welcome to the Trend Zone presented by Mercedes-Benz. It's your boy Hawk as always. Due to our contractual obligations, we can't legally call the show the Lamar Zone. But to be quite honest, I'm a rebel and I'm calling it the Lamar Zone whether they like it or not, even though it's really the Trend Zone. Because Lamar Jackson is that dude. Anyway, on Sunday, he showed why he's the leading candidate for MVP. The Texans-Ravens Week 11 matchup was supposed to be a playoff preview featuring two of the best teams in the AFC, led by two of the best quarterbacks in the entire league, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson. Jackson and Watson have combined for 3 of the 5 perfect passing games this season, and they're the only 2 players in NFL history with 15-plus passing touchdowns, 5-plus rushing touchdowns, and a 100-plus passer rating over their team's first 9 games of the season. So needless to say, they're pretty good. Watson was coming off a bye with plenty of time to refuel with those good old Popeye's chicken sandwiches he loves so much. And Jackson, he had Baltimore riding a 5-game winning streak. Ravens center Matt was expecting a thriller, rocking this shirt featuring LJ's face photoshopped on the King of Pop. Texan center Greg Mance looked like he wanted to be starting something. But Lamar Jackson and the Ravens had to tell him it's human nature and left the Texans asking, why do you do me that way? Jackson became the first quarterback in Ravens history with multiple 4-plus pass touchdown games in the same season, including a 2-piece to running back Mark Ingram in the second half. The first came early in the third quarter as Jackson and Ingram connected for a 25-yard touchdown, and Ingram celebrated by sliding into his own thriller pose. The second came in the fourth quarter where Ingram hit the stop on the dime and he slid into the stands to celebrate with Ravens fans and didn't even knock over a single cup. Now that's impressive. Ingram even took time out to strike a pose. Lamar also did it on the ground. He rushed for 86 yards on 9 attempts, including this jaw dropper that had Texans defense ready to beat him.
Oh, that fake off the stutter step. Lamar Jackson. Jackson still going. Oh, remarkable.
Gus Edwards eclipsed the 100-yard rushing mark for the 4th time in his career and the first time this season as the Texans allowed a 100-yard rusher for the first time since 2017. Deshaun Watson, on the other hand, had a forgettable day. Apparently, those chicken sandwiches aren't good for football performance. Who knew? Anyway, Baltimore had a season-high 7 sacks to go along with 2 takeaways and limited Watson to just 169 yards passing on the day. Watson had never lost by double digits in his career as a starter, but the Ravens were jonesing for a blowout like Quincy. Most of y'all are Too young to get that reference, but trust me, it's funny. It's hilarious. After the game, Jackson and Watson showed hella love to each other with the jersey exchange. Watson wrote MVP on the jersey he gave to Jackson. Deshaun, you just might be onto something. Now, NFL Network's very own Patrick Claybon. He may have come through with the clapback of the season after calling out a Lamar Jackson critic for speaking just a little too soon. Now, Lamar started the game 1 for 6, which led this dude to tweet, "Lamar Jackson is still inaccurate. If you don't know who Tony Grossi is, ask Baker Mayfield." After the game, he had to learn the hard way. Patrick hit him with this tweet. After this tweet, Lamar Jackson completed 13 consecutive passes and added 4 touchdown passes. Finished with a 139.2 rating with 9.25 yards an attempt. Good on you, Patrick. The Detroit Lions defense, well, they have been getting mauled all season. They were Mitch Trubisky's slump buster last week, and Sunday, it was Dak Prescott's turn to get his Simba on and be the Lion King. The Lions had a 30th ranked defense, and the Cowboys had the top offense. Not to mention, Dak is 5-0 in his career when facing a D ranked 30th or worse. Jeff Driscoll made his second straight start, replacing injured Matt Stafford, which was great news for Jerry's team because he did not play that well. Just kidding. The Cowboys have won their last 4 games when facing quarterbacks with fewer than 10 career starts. Dak was back showing his hips don't lie during the pregame, baby. And Detroit was trying to get back in the win column. The Lions capitalized early on a fumble by Zeke, and former Cowboys draft pick Bo Scarborough was looking for revenge and gave the Lions an early lead with his first career touchdown. And if you're wondering who Bo Scarborough is, join the club and check out this Kid Cuzzy tweet from back in 2017 when Scarborough burst onto the scene at Alabama. But Dak responded. He hit Tony Pollard on a short pass, and Pollard juked and rebuked the Lions defense for the score. My guy Jeff Driscoll wasn't going down without a fight, spiking the punch after a 2-yard touchdown run. For anybody who thinks Driscoll was doing a little too much, clearly you've never scored an NFL touchdown before. Me, I have. I've scored thousands. 9. I scored 9. The Cowboys responded with their own 1-2 punch as Zeke did it on the ground and through the air, paying homage to his quarterback with Dak's Rock Your Hips pregame workout that became an internet sensation.
And he's doing the Dak dance. That is great.
His hips ain't as loose as Dak's. I mean, can we all admit that? Driscoll tried his best to engineer the comeback. He found Marvin Jones Jr. twice in the second half for touchdowns as he matched his teammate Kenny Golladay with the league-leading 8th touchdown reception this season to keep the Lions close. But Dak came through in the clutch with his key first down late in the fourth quarter. As the Cowboys won their 4th straight meeting against the Lions, after the game, Jason Garrett did more than clap. He had a special message for his team.
Talk about this game for a second. It's a damn good win for our football team. Fight longer, fight harder. Fight longer, fight harder. That's what you have to do to win in the National Football League. Plenty of stuff to clean up in all 3 phases. We'll dig into that. Hell of a job, guys. Hell of a job. Okay, it's Dallas Cowboys on 3. Make it loud. 1, 2, 3.
Out in Philly, the Patriots and the Eagles met for the first time since the Philly special propelled the Eagles to a Super Bowl 52 W. First in their franchise history. The Eagles looked a little different then, when Nick Foles was filling in for injured Carson Wentz, who had to wait until Sunday for his first meeting with Mr. Gisele Bündchen. Wentz got the Eagles off to a 10-0 lead in the first quarter with this touchdown pass to Dallas Goedert. It was initially ruled an interception, but was overturned to give Goedert his 4th touchdown reception of the season. Tom Brady then led the Patriots on 3 drives that ended with field goals to close the gap just a bit. Later in the game, the Patriots hit the Eagles with some trickery as Julian Edelman, yes, the former Mac College quarterback Julian Edelman, caught the Eagles secondary slipping and dimed up Philip Dorsett for a touchdown to give the Patriots a 7-point lead. On the other side, Belichick's defense kept Wentz under control, sacked him 5 times and forced a turnover. Late in the game, Carson Wentz did have one last chance to send the game to OT, but Nelson Aguilar hadn't been practicing catching babies from burning buildings and couldn't hang on.
He's assisting people down. My man just started throwing babies out the window. But we was catching them, unlike Aguilar and his mishaps. I like to put that out there.
All right, the Patriots now have their 19th straight winning season, which is the 2nd longest streak in NFL history. Over to the Bay like Mac Dre, where it was a career day for Jimmy J. Jimmy G? Jimmy G. But that didn't rhyme. Look, he led his 5th career fourth quarter comeback to keep the Niners on top in the NFC. Jimmy G joined some exclusive 49ers company, joining Joe Montana and Steve Young as the only quarterbacks in franchise history to throw for 400-plus yards and 4 touchdowns. That is not including Kaepernick's workout, where he threw for 3,242 yards and 28 touchdowns from Saturday. Those don't count. Anyway, Kyler Murray kept the Bird Gang in the game while trying to secure the upset. He threw for 2 touchdowns and ran for another one, but it wasn't enough for the stout Niners D, who stepped up when it was time.
Tackled by Mosley. Ball came out. Ball's on the ground. 49ers have the ball.
Kid Cuzzy was trying to continue silencing his haters out in Minnesota. Cousins was 5-1 with 15 touchdown passes and a 110-plus passer rating in 5 of his last 6 games. Denver, they entered as winners of 3 of the last 5 games after starting the season 0-4, but were winless against teams above 500 this season. Brandon Allen, who is the 3rd best quarterback in the league named Allen, struck early. He hit Broncos top wideout Courtland Sutton for a 48-yard bomb that set up a touchdown later in the drive. Sutton also showed off his arm with a 38-yard pass to Tim Patrick as the Broncos took a 20-point lead at the half. In the second half, Cousins woke up and the Vikings got back on track. He threw 3 touchdown passes, including this 54-yard bomb to Stephon Diggs. Later on, he found Kyle Rudolph to give the Vikings their first lead of the game. It was the Broncos' 4th blown fourth-quarter lead this season. That sucks. Someone's getting fired. Brandon Allen tried to save the day, but the Vikings defense made a game-stealing stand to keep the Broncos out of the end zone on the final play of the game.
It's going to fade right. That's a push-off. And the Minnesota Vikings have beaten the Denver Broncos.
The Vikings became the first team in the past 5 years to overcome a 20-point halftime deficit. Teams were previously 0-99 during that span. Now they're 1-99. Thanks, Broncos. After the game, Mike Zimmer took time to reflect on the Vikings' second straight clutch win.
I told you all week long this was a good football team, right? Yes, sir. Okay? They lost 3 games by a total of 2 points. Each one of those 3 games. Okay? Now, the first half of football was about as bad as we can play. That you fought your off in the second half. And one of the things I talked about in the spring was 10 minutes left in the ball game. We were down by, 10. Okay? We're down by 10 and came back and won. That's 2 weeks now that we've done that. We've had to do that the last 2 weeks. These last 10 minutes of the ball game are extremely important, okay? But, fellas, we got to play better than that in the first half. We got to come out better than that and be much more efficient than what we were today.
All right, the Bears and the Rams met on Sunday Night Football in a game that looked much better on paper before the season. However, both teams desperately needed to win to stay in the hunt for the playoffs. The Rams decided load managing was not the answer for Todd Gurley, and he had 28 touches, which is the most that he's had since Week 8 of last season, and 133 scrimmage yards, which is also the most he's had since last season in Week 13. Jared Goff was without Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods, but he managed to find Cooper Kupp on a deep bomb that led to a Gurley touchdown. The best catch of the game, though, belonged to backup quarterback Blake Bortles, who snagged this pass from Goff. Blake Bortles contributing to a passing game. Who would have thought? The Bears' offense, as you would imagine, was nowhere to be seen, and Trubisky finally got Chavinsky as Chase Daniel entered the game late in the fourth quarter, looking to spark the Bears' O. Nagy and Trubisky shared a moment on the sidelines, and we actually had the exclusive audio here on the Trend Zone. I'm giving it everything I got, Coach. I could have drafted Mahomes. Now, after getting shut down at home against the Falcons last week that snapped a 6-game win streak, Drew Brees and the Saints got a blessing in the form of the Bucs defense. But then again, the Falcons defense is also one of the worst in the league, so you see how that ended. Brees didn't throw a TD pass last week, but he's 6-0 with 15 touchdown passes in the last 6 games following a 0 touchdown pass game. So the Bucs had a good reason for concern. Brees linked up with Michael Thomas for a touchdown. Thomas had 11 catches and 182 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Week 5 matchup against the Bucs, and came through this game with another clutch performance. Thomas finished with 8 grabs, 114 yards and a score, and his 94 receptions is the most in the league this season. He is on pace to break the NFL receptions record. Brees followed up that touchdown pass with this Jared Cook catch, who levitated like Chris Angel mind freak over the Buccaneers defense for a nice catch. Then Breeze hit Ted Ginn for the good old hat trick. On the other side of the ball, quarterback Jameis Winston came into the game leading the league in giveaways, and his teammate O.J. Howard did everything he could to make sure he kept pace. This time, he bobbled a pass to give the pick straight to Demario Davis of the New Orleans Saints. Thanks, O.J. Howard, that is, for anybody listening at home. Winston finished the day with 4 interceptions, not bad, capped off by this pick 6 to Marcus Williams in the fourth quarter. Jameis is gonna Jameis. Winston did have his 5th straight 300-yard game, but the Bucs are 1-4 in those games, so clearly it doesn't matter. The Saints improved to 8-2 and are now in a 3-way tie for second place in the NFC with the Seahawks and the Packers. Out in Oakland, the Cincinnati Bengals are the front runners for the number 1 overall pick, and the Raiders have their sights set on the playoffs. Who would have thunk it? Derek Carr was nearly perfect through the air, finishing 25 for 29 and 292 yards, including this short touchdown pass to Foster Moreau, and even came through with the touchdown run to put the Raiders back on top. Running back Josh Jacobs continued his dominant rookie campaign with another 100-yard game, which is his 4th of the season. The Ryan Finley era in Cincinnati has reached its second game, and much like the first, it left much to be desired. The offense was outscored by the Ravens defense last week, and the Raiders kept him in check this week as Finley only completed 13 passes. He was sacked 5 times in the game, 4 of those courtesy of Max Crosby, who was running through the gut of Cincinnati's offensive line like skyline chilling. Finley did have a chance to play hero late in the fourth quarter, but Trayvon Mullen came through with this game-sealing interception. And as you could have guessed, the Bengals are still winless and have their second 0-10 start in franchise history. Gruden celebrated with the Black Hole after the Raiders got their 3rd straight win. And congrats to all of us Bengals fans. You're officially eliminated from playoff contention. Not like you didn't know that. But be good or be good at it, as they say. And in the Bengals case, they're really good at losing. Free Andy Dalton. In a game featuring 2 teams looking to get their offenses back on track, the Jaguars welcomed Nick Foles back from his Week 1 collarbone injury, and Jacoby Brissett was back in action for the Colts after missing last week, and let's just say his teammates were in the festive mood. All right, wait, we will get to that. Both of these teams entered the weekend within striking distance of the Houston Texans, with the Colts getting just a win to tie Houston on top of the AFC South. The Jaguars struck first as Foles found DJ Chark for a 34-yard touchdown. But if you're a Jags fan, that's about all you have to remember until the final moments of the game, and even then it was forgettable. The Colts pretty much celebrated the entire game as they put up 33 points running all over the Jaguars defense. Colts guard Quentin Nelson got in on the action, running in what he thought was a touchdown and even hit the keg stand with some of his teammates. After review, they called it back, but I got to give Nelson and company an A for preparation and execution. Nelson comes in at about 6'5", 330 pounds, and it makes me wonder, did the coaches see them practicing this? Because dropping a 330-pound man could get a bit messy. The Colts had 264 yards rushing, and they outrushed the Jags by 235 yards. Even the defense had a 2-point conversion. It was a team celebration, and Jacoby Brissett was all here for it. The Colts are now in first place in the AFC South, and they improved to 3-0 in the division. After the game, Jacoby Brissett had some words of encouragement for his teammates headed into the Thursday night showdown with division rival Houston Texans.
Before the game, man, we said execution breeds confidence, man. That was a confident group out there today, man, in all 3 phases of the game. We got a quick turnaround, so we got to be ready to bring that same intensity, same energy, same execution into another week.
Thursday night football is going to be must-see TV as the Colts and the Texans square off with first place in the AFC South on the line. The Colts won the first meeting 30-23 in Week 7 at home and are looking to steal the season series when they head to Houston. All right, Josh Allen and the Bills. They are a dark horse in the AFC and have quietly stayed in the hunt in the AFC East. Dolphins have won 2 straight games and enter today with less than a 1% shot of making the playoffs. Well, let's not be dramatic. That percentage is now less. They lost. Go ahead and book your vacations, Dolphins. But this one wasn't without its share of highlights. Josh Allen connected with John Brown early and often, linking up with him for 2 of his 3 touchdown passes, including this 40-yarder in the first quarter, and this 9-yard score that put the game out of reach. Allen also did it with his feet, He rushed for 56 yards, including this 8-yard scramble. For the most part, the Dolphins looked like they went back to the team that started the season with 7 straight losses, but there was one good moment. Jakeem Grant took this return and ran past all of the Bills. I wish I could run past all my Bills like that. The Bills improved to 7-3, and after, head coach Sean McDermott had a message for his squad.
That's one hell of a fight, one hell of a win right there. Hey, most importantly, man, we are who we are, and we ain't changing who we are, baby, right? Great job, man. Great leadership, and great job by the dogs coming out to hunt this week, baby. Good work, good work.
All right, just one thing, yo. We have a special bond here, man. Don't let go unnoticed. It's a family. I love y'all boys. Family on 3. 1, 2, 3, family.
Over to Carolina, we had the Falcons, who were looking to keep soaring after upsetting the Saints a week ago. The Panthers looked like they were ready to be contenders after Kyle Allen was 4-0 in place of Cam Newton and had some questioning whether or not he was the new franchise quarterback. But Allen has gone 1-3 with 9 picks in the last 4 games. Not great, and this game wouldn't be any different. He was able to find Falcons defenders early and often. He was throwing the pill around like free turkeys on Thanksgiving. Sorry, Allen. You dropped in the Allen quarterback rankings. CMC, on the other hand, was one of the lone bright spots for the Panthers. The Falcons were one of the laughing stocks in the NFL to start the season, but now all of a sudden, they're hitting it on all 3 phases. Meanwhile, quarterback Matt Ryan is looking like Matty Ice again, which is easy to do when you're throwing to Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. Ridley had a huge day. He put up 143 receiving yards on 8 catches with a touchdown. And running back Kenyon Barner busted loose for a 78-yard punt return. The Falcons got their 4th straight win against the Panthers and improved to 2-0 in the NFC South. Too bad they were 1-7 in the rest of those games. Too little, too late. Okay, so imagine being a diehard Washington fan heading into this game to see your 1-8 squad go up against the 2-7 Jets team at home and thinking you might just get a win. Spoiler alert, you didn't. Sam Darnold had a field day with the Washington defense. He put up 4 touchdown passes for the first time in his career and became the first Jet to do it since Ryan Fitzpatrick did it in 2015 for the Gang Green. Late in the game, though, Dwayne Haskins and Darius Geis did give Washington fans a reason for optimism as the pair connected for a 45-yard touchdown reception. But Jet safety Jamal Adams terrified Haskins all day, sacked him 3 times in the game to become the first DB with 3 sacks in a game since 2017. The Jets improved to 3-0 this season against the NFC East. They should join that division because they can't beat the Patriots.